Hello and welcome to Fan/Fiction with Andrew/Zach. I'm Zach Dunsing.
And I'm Andrew Gum.
And today...
oh shit.
Did we forget how to do this?
Yeah, it's been forever, man. Look at that. Oh my gosh, like riding a bike.
Well, except for that part where you were like, okay, I'm recording. Wait, we got to sync it.
Yeah. Oh man. So, dear listener, just know that hey, it's been a really long time, for one thing. And then another is I'm quite sick. So, the usual dynamic.
Do you have anything else to do?
No, this is it.
So
man.
We're just going. That's it. That's how we start.
Yeah.
We've been off the air for well over a year.
Yeah. Has it been a full year?
It's been at least a full year.
No way. It was like before the summer, right?
I think, what was the last episode we did? I think it was
on my feed. It was like May 30th, which is my birthday. So like... I remember that.
We didn't record on your birthday, did we?
No, I think that might have been when we released it, though.
Oh.
Because I had already gone off, on my voyages.
Right. Well, clearly
summer.
We forgot how to intro a show because we are just rambling.
Hey, guys.
It's been a while.
To our first episode.
It might as well be the first episode. Fuck it.
Right, yeah. This is fan/something with something/fiction.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man. So, what have you been up to for the 2 years since we've last recorded?
I've been up to a lot. I've been up to a lot of things since we last recorded. It's been forever.
Me too.
And we should probably explain why we stopped recording and why we're recording now. Well, let's start with why we're recording now.
If I may, we got some real treats for you. The holidays are approaching. And
they know the premise of the show, Andrew. That's not what I'm talking about.
That's why we're recording now, because of the holiday
it took us a year to find some sweet holiday treats?
Yeah.
That's what you're suggesting?
This one has been really well researched.
Sorry, guys. It's taken us 8 months to find more fan fiction.
Yeah. We ran out. There wasn't enough fan fiction.
And there just wasn't enough of it. Well, so we're back, but not really, because we're just going to record this one episode, and that will be the only one for the indefinite future.
Right. This is goodbye.
Sorry.
This is like an actual goodbye.
This is goodbye, and thank you. For the 8 of you who listened, we felt bad that we never really got to do a last episode.
I know. Thank you, Brian. Thank you,
Thanks,
Greg.
Brian.
Thank you, Dane.
Wait, you know Brian?
Brian from... Yeah, you know Brian, right?
Yes, I know
Your friend, Brian.
My friend, Brian. From Dan's wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
So thanks.
That's just sort of like a fun send-off. So Zach, I'll ask you first. What is prompting the end of this version?
Why have we stopped recording? Well, for a while there, we were both going through a lot, so we just didn't have time to record. It's almost as if while my divorce was happening, that somehow our two white guy pop culture comedy podcasts just wasn't the most important thing in the world anymore.
They never warn you about that when you're embarking on a two white guy pop culture comedy podcast, that it might not be that important.
They don't tell you that. It's definitely written in between every line, but they don't tell you that.
More astute people might have picked up on that earlier, but we didn't.
We didn't. It took The better question is, why didn't we stop after the first episode?
Yeah. Why did we start? And the reason is
why did we start?
Because you, fictional listener, that's why.
Yeah.
And also just as a chance for
Thanks,
us to
Brian.
spend some time together and talk and give it a space for us to have weird conversations with each other.
Yeah, that was always the goal. And then we got kind of to a place where we just didn't have that time anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And we're both doing stuff, and we're both moving on to some other things. Mm-hmm. I've been busy with work and other projects. Andrew, you're potentially moving away from the educational world.
Yeah, well, I'm being forced to move away from it at the end of this year. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm still sort of teetering on the edge of
poverty,
a decision. Yeah, well, that's
well, you're a teacher, so
yeah, yeah, that's not changing. But looking at nursing as like as a potential school thing, going back to school. But it's just the thing that I'm kind of in the middle of right now is just trying to figure out trying to choose a direction and commit to it's actually the hardest part.
Yeah.
Of any of this. And
well, it's a new, it's a new decade. It's time for change. A lot of change for both of us. I am as well, about to wrap up a couple of these long-term writing projects I've been working on. But as soon as those are done, I don't have anything on the horizon for the foreseeable future. So I'm going to figure out the next step, the next big thing to waste another decade of my life on.
Hey, as long as you're alive, there's still more time to waste. That's
true.
That's on no bumper stickers for obvious reasons.
Did Socrates say that?
Yeah, it's one of his B-sides. So
why can't
what? Yeah, go ahead.
So here's a question our listener might have. Why not fan fiction anymore?
Well, dear listener, aside from what you've heard us say multiple times that we're just we don't really know what. I mean, that's not true. I was going to say we don't really know what more to say on it. There's tons more to say about fan fiction. We could interview people who are writers of fan fiction. We could go to fan fiction communities. We could get more involved ourselves, talk to interview people that are, really intensely involved in the
Well, it's that thing of I feel like we 30 something episodes. I feel like God, there's probably only 28 episodes, and I don't know that, even though I edit all of them, and I'm going to sound like a jackass. Anyways.
And you won't edit this out.
I won't cut
That's
this part
funny
out.
Part. You're going to leave that in.
I always leave in the, it's with simultaneously, I feel as if we still haven't scratched the surface. And I also feel like we know as much as we're ever going to know.
Yeah.
Between the two of us. There's more kind of data, and there's more sort of stuff we could learn. But we comprehend it as well as you and I are ever going to comprehend it.
I think that's a good way of putting
fan fiction.
It's
which is also what? Yeah. Go ahead.
It's not a perfect analogy, but it's going out into a lake, realizing it's an ocean, and realizing you're not really water people after all.
Well, that's a shame because our listeners are definitely accustomed to perfect analogies from the both of us. So it's just a pity that we have to go out on that not perfect analogy.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that this is the last podcast we'll ever do together. It's just
no. I love making them. It's
we gotta.
It just to me the podcast form is it's a form of exploration, and we want to figure out something that feels
exciting and new to us that we can add to. So we will potentially make some in the future, or potentially we won't. I don't know. this might be the last time Andrew and I ever talk.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate truth, you know.
Yeah.
I doubt that very much, but yeah, I'd like to figure out a next thing, but you know, this is the glue, man. This has been the glue in that friendship, you know. It started out as a comic and then became this. It'll be some project. I'm sure the next thing we'll do is a fucking painting together. You know?
I mean,
we'll just mail it back and forth to each other, and it'll be a painting.
I will say that you a few weeks ago or whatever long ago, you sent me a little crocheted squared with the title of one of our episodes on it. Transform, Marry, Kill, and the Transformers logo that I guess your sister, fan of the show, had made.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Sarah. Thanks,
Sarah. And I just want you to know that you will never know how much heavy lifting that little square is doing for our relationship.
Oh,
because I was pretty much ready just to not pick up the phone the next time you called, but
yeah, gotcha.
You know, that came through, and
yeah,
we're on the phone right now.
Hey, did we come that close?
Oh, I mean, no.
I just want to know how much of that humor is real, man. Like, is this are we coming to? Is this the time where we talk about a wound in our friendship?
Well, no. I mean, we weren't talking for a while.
I know,
and I never really got over the fact that you didn't come to my wedding. Which fuck, I can't even give you a hard time about anymore. That is bullshit.
Yeah, well, you can. You still can. That's the joy of weddings.
That's it. That's the joy of weddings.
Yep. That's the thing that's forever. Is you can shame people for not going to them, regardless of how the whole marriage turns out.
Yeah. Right. Well, I guess as we used to joke, and now I guess can just hopefully want. I'll see you at the next one.
Yeah. Well,
and
I'll probably have some lame excuse not to go to it.
Well, you're gonna go see Hamilton twice.
We gotta keep the joke going now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the third one. Yeah. That's the one I'll also go to Hamilton for.
Well, if anybody else out there would like to attend my wedding, I'm available and very, very damaged. So,
hey,
take your pick.
Some of our listeners, some other sensitive men in their 30s. That's who I think we're appealing to. Is sensitive men in their 30s like us.
I would be surprised if we were appealing to anyone in their 30s.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. Those are the only people who listen to podcasts. Yeah. I think. Well, that's part of why we can't do this show anymore. Is because we're cresting from our early 30s to our late 30s. We're aging out of the entire medium.
Yeah, that's true. Now we got to get in. Like I said, painting. Now we got to.
Yeah, let's do a painting together, Andrew. How the fuck do you think that would go?
Exactly as well as a podcast about fan fiction. That's how well I think it would go.
We'd make 28 of them, and then we wouldn't talk for 2 years.
We'd feel like we needed to apologize to the painting.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Man.
Are you suggesting that we have to apologize to the podcast now?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the podcast.
We're sorry you exist. You maybe shouldn't.
We've treated you so badly.
We brought you into this world and we just treated you like garbage.
I know.
And we never promoted you.
We didn't promote you very well. We gave you that weird burpy intro.
You have that awful title.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
That doesn't roll off of a tongue.
No, it's terrible to say. It's not even that clever. It's, so sorry. It's like giving your kid the name, like...
This is a mercy killing.
Nike or something.
This is a mercy killing. That's what this episode is.
Yeah.
We're putting it down forever.
Yeah. What's good about
welcome
this
to
point, and I was gonna say what's good about this point of the podcast is now literally no one's listening but us. And so now we can talk about like the holidays and fan fiction, and that'll be fun.
Yeah, we spent 2 years garnering a couple hundred listeners.
Thanks, guys. That's
thanks.
So generous of you.
It is. We do really genuinely appreciate you.
I didn't say thanks to Lance.
You forgot Lance-o?
Lance. I'm so sorry, Lance. Thank you for listening. I don't know if you're still listening at this point.
No one's listening now. We've been off the air for a year. They stopped listening. Nobody cares. And then we reward them with this piece of shit 20-minute long intro.
Oh, man, that you won't edit. I know you won't.
Not this one. This one's going to be pure, uncut fanfic. Actually, so I got a thing before. Okay, so for the record, we are going to talk about fan fiction in a moment. And we are going to talk about Christmas fan fiction. But just an update, speaking of pure and uncut, somebody was telling me that
Are we going to talk about cocaine?
No, it's too easy.
Okay.
Someone was telling me that they were watching that new like fake Anthony Bourdain Jeff Goldblum show on Disney Plus.
Say what?
Okay, so
what is this?
You don't know about this show on Disney Plus?
No.
It's The World According to Jeff Goldblum, right?
24 karat Goldblum?
Right. Here's the deal, okay? He has a catchphrase on the show, and it's as good as Goldblum, which is
nowhere near
so
as good.
Inferior.
Yeah, that's not as good of a catchphrase.
Okay, so
Man.
I'm not 100% know that it's a catchphrase. Somebody said that they watched the show, and he said it on at least one episode. That's all I know for sure. I haven't watched it. But if that's the case, that is bullshit, and
that is total bullshit.
24 karat Goldblum belongs in the
That's
zeitgeist.
And it's just like, whenever he certifies something cool, like an Anthony Bourdain restaurant, like when people would go visit them, it's like, oh, that's cool because Anthony Bourdain likes it. He just put a little thing and it says 24 karat Goldblum, and then we'd all go there and take pictures
Goldblum.
next to it.
Great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Because that's what the 2020s is for, is following Jeff Goldblum around and seeing what he thinks is cool. Because that guy seems with it.
That's how we're ringing out the decade. He seems tall. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Still relevant. Impressive.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I watched 10 minutes of the first episode. He went to a sneakers convention.
Oh. Yeah. People are into sneakers.
It's weird. There's a high-end sneaker store. It's like the only one kind. It's a very LA type thing that's just sort of just popped up in Nashville. And it's in my building complex. It's like a block away from me. And sometimes I'll get up to go to work in the morning and there's just like people camped out on a Wednesday in the rain at 8 a.m. for sneakers. And I just...
This is the way that you're telling me that you're a sneakerhead now, and you get in line with them.
I'm whatever the opposite of a sneakerhead is.
What is the opposite of that?
So yeah, just...
I don't know. Barefoot?
Definitely not cutting any of this out. Just rolling with it. It's all you get. So we're just going to milk this episode.
Yeah.
So do you want to... So for our last episode, for the holidays, we realized that we never had done a Christmas episode. And we're going to start with Andrew's going to tell us about some Christmas fanfic that he had. And then I'm going to tell Andrew what the worst Christmas movie ever made is. Can you guess right now?
Yeah. It might be...
Well, hang on.
Actually...
It's not Love Actually.
That's also my favorite.
Well, it's not bad. Technically, the absolute worst Christmas movie is Groundhog Day. That movie has nothing to do with Christmas. But for the sake of
nothing to do with Christmas, but I love that movie.
Yeah, it's an incredible movie. It's a really bad Christmas movie. It's about Groundhog Day, not Christmas.
I guess then you're saying Die Hard is a bad Christmas movie too.
No. I'm saying first of all, the Groundhog Day thing was a Christmas joke, Andrew. It was a joke.
It was not. It's a great movie.
No, you're still fundamentally not understanding what I'm saying. It's a great movie, but it's a bad Christmas movie because it's not about Christmas at all. It's about Groundhog's Day.
Oh, it's a beautiful joke. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I have a fever, okay?
I know.
That's part of my setup for my whole fan fiction thing.
I know, and as I said before, I still don't care.
Fair.
But no, for in the context of this, when I say the worst Christmas movie, the only criteria for it are that some part of the film takes place on Christmas.
Gotcha.
So, with that in mind, other than Love Actually, which do you believe are the other worst Christmas movies?
I like Christmas movies in general. I saw part of one recently, The Christmas Prince, that looked really, really bad, but that's too modern for your taste.
Yeah, because you definitely, this is what I consider to be the worst Christmas movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into Zach's brain on this one. I think you'd like The Grinch because of how weird, Jim Carrey is in it. I think you'd like that.
Oh, no, I've never seen that one. I like the animated one, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the Santa Claus, though I also like the Santa Claus.
I kind of do have a soft spot for that movie as well because I used to watch it at my grandmother's house.
I watched it all the time as a kid. I don't know. Don't tell me.
I'm not going to tell you yet. I want you to keep guessing throughout the episode until it's time.
Okay.
But I will give you a hint.
Okay.
I will say that this is a movie that I either love to hate or hate to love. I don't know which. You almost certainly don't know it takes place on Christmas, even though it explicitly says that in the film. It's not a thing that you would remember from this movie.
All right, then I'm gonna keep guessing and see if I can land on it.
I'll give you one more guess, and then we're gonna move into your stuff, and you can guess again in 10 minutes.
Great.
Well, sorry, 45 minutes. This is gonna be a long ep.
Just to get it out of the way. Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's not it, but that's
okay,
because that's a great movie.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let me tell you about my thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit of setup. On Lindsay's birthday this year, December 8th, we were in Las Vegas for a family thing. And we were going to go walk down the strip and do some go to a fancy dinner and stuff. And instead, we were horribly, horribly ill and watched the entire third season of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel and Home Alone. We watched that as well. She gave me this terrible illness and
some beautiful memories.
And some great memories. And rewatching Home Alone, for one thing, holy shit, that is so violent. It is so violent. I did not remember.
Macaulay Culkin is straight up the Jigsaw killer.
Yes. I literally looked that up to see if that was a thing, and it's not.
Really?
No one's put that shit together yet.
No. That's a fan theory. That's totally a fan theory. I've seen it before.
You have?
Yeah, where it's
typed that into the thing.
No. There's totally fan theories out there that Home Alone is I guess it wouldn't even be a prequel because it came out before, but that it prefaces the Saw movies.
That's the origin of the Saw movies? That's pretty great.
I'm definitely not the first to say it. I can say that much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool, because I think that's true. That's literally that's what I was thinking when I was watching it. It's this dude is it's because you keep cutting back to his face and he's such a creep about it. He's loving watching these men suffer. It's really weird. And they're just burglars. Why are you torturing
They could have been in and out of there in no time, but
yeah, they've got insurance, kid. Get out of there. Anyway. Yeah, it's a whole stand your ground bullshit. It's terrifying.
Castle law, bro.
Yeah. Kevin McAllister is a monster to begin with. But then
also
sent me
real
down
brat.
Yeah, he sucks. And I feel a lot more compassion for him based on the things that I found on the internet that are Home Alone fan fiction.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Nothing that involves anybody being alone in fan fiction goes well, let alone being home alone.
Yeah. If you're home alone, you're not, and things are about to go terribly wrong for you. So let's see. So the first one I found, I thought that they were two different authors, and it was going to be amazing, but it's the same author, which makes sense. So the first one I found was Broken Home by Thriller Girl, which is 11 chapters and over 70,000 words, which is long. That's much longer than your average novel. And that is a reference to another one of her fanfics, which is Home is Where the Heart Is, which has 121,000 words plus in it.
Interesting.
So it's the two. So she's referencing that anyway. So in Broken Home.
Oh, sorry. I hate to interrupt, but I did forget the other probably biggest reason why we're not continuing with the podcast.
Huh.
The reading, all of the reading.
Oh yeah, everyone hates reading.
Yeah. We hate to read.
That read fan fiction. Yeah. Come on, that's crazy.
We hate it.
Speaking of reading, let me just I'm gonna try to find some sections for you.
Give me some
because it's
snippets.
So dark. So the whole premise for both Home is Where the Heart Is and Broken Home are, what if at the end of Home Alone, Kevin did not get saved by the neighbor and instead was kidnapped by the two and kept by the two, burglars.
Yeah.
Marv and Harry.
Yeah.
And
so he's just raised by Marv and Harry?
Yeah, and not in like a funny comedy way, in a like really scary room kind of a way.
Right, yeah. So some bad stuff happens to Kevin.
Yeah, the whole thing reads like Gone Girl. It's like really upsetting. Like for example, let me read you this.
Yeah.
Okay. I followed my father as he... This is from Buzz. This is from Buzz's perspective.
Buzz?
I followed my father. Yeah, the one who has like the girlfriend and Kevin McAllister says woof, and he has the tarantula, and he like borrows his BB gun to like shoot it at Marv and Harry. Okay. Okay, I'll just read you this section because it's all like this. I followed my father as he cautiously stepped in the living room. Christmas lights first caught my eyes. A small lighted Christmas tree stood in the corner of the room. Kevin. He always liked Christmas trees and had been in despair when our parents decided we wouldn't decorate one this year, given that we would be spending the holidays in Paris. Looks like he had had his Christmas tree after all. I refused to dwell on the thought too long. I didn't see anything sinister at first until my father knelt beside the tree to look at some broken ornaments. As my mother had told us, there were specks of blood on the floor and carpet. There wasn't much blood, but I didn't like it. Too many ornaments had been broken. Those hadn't been dropped. Following my father's movement, I saw him raise his eyes to the window behind the tree. It was open. Why would Kevin open a window in the middle of winter? My brother wasn't that stupid. Buzz, go wait outside, ordered my father as he rose to his feet. And it's all like this. And
Jesus.
it's just, I know, man. It's like, so the entire thing reads like just this nightmare of what if you had, like, everyone had treated him terribly, like in the first 15 minutes of Home Alone. Everyone calls like Tim, like, you suck, stay out of my room, we hate you, you're a disease, Kevin, like all that stuff.
Then you forget him. at home.
And then you forget him, and you come back, and he's gone, and he's clearly left behind him, like trying to protect himself.
Terrible abduction evidence. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's blood, and the place is destroyed, and your brother / son is just gone, and everyone is just dealing with it now.
Oof.
And yeah, it's actually really good. And the attention to detail on Home Alone is spot on. Like, you get chapters and chapters into the other one where it's following Kevin as he's been like abducted, and like Marv like holds up his hand to show like the M that's burned into it, and he says it's like, don't think that I'm afraid to hurt you. Like stuff like that.
That's some pretty bleak Pesci.
Yeah, it's like real like casino Pesci.
I mean,
is what comes through.
Did you see The Irishman? Like, that's the bleakest Pesci I've ever seen.
Yeah, I watched the first half of it and fell asleep.
No. You watched the first half of it and then realized you'd actually only watched the first fourth of it. That's what you did, because that's what I did.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it's an insanely long movie that is, from what I've got out of it, a few murders and mostly just men talking to each other over like drinks.
Yes, it is. All of the violence in it is like pretty quick and pretty at face, and it's a strangely intimate movie.
Yeah, just a bunch of all guys that are like, you know, trying to have relationships with each other.
Yeah.
And they do crime.
And just getting...
But, like,
and,
they also,
and
like, know each other's kids and stuff.
Yeah, and their friendship, like, you know, is 30 or 40 years long. It's, it's great. Back to Home Alone.
Yeah, so that Pesci. Like, we're following that Pesci.
Yes.
Because he is, like... They're really nuanced characters. Like, they don't want to kill him. There's like the part of it that I got all the way up through is Kevin runs away and
he escapes.
Yeah, he escapes from like this house that they're holed up in, and he falls into like a rocky creek bed and breaks his arm.
Yeah,
and so then Marv gets him, takes him back, and Marv's like actually like really concerned. He's like, oh man, the kid's really hurt. Like, I don't know what we do. Like, do we take him to the hospital? And it's like, well, if we take him to the hospital, we're going to go to jail. Like, and it's a bad break too. So, I mean, I can't patch him up. Like, they stitch up like a cut on his head, and they're like really trying to take care of him. But they like get to the point where it's like, well, we've come this far. I mean, when we took him, you knew this was how it was going to end. We gotta kill him. Like, he's in pain. Like, we can't fix him. And like, it's all from Kevin's perspective, and he's like begging for his life. And like, they bring out like a pistol, like the same pistol he has in the movie, and like put it to his head. And like, Marv is just like okay with it. He's like, I'm not gonna do it, but if you're gonna do it, I'm not gonna help you bury him. You just gotta do it. And Kevin's like begging for his life, and then Harry just doesn't kill him, and instead calls in a favor with this mob guy who can pay off a doctor. But now they're all back in that mob guy's pocket.
Ooh.
And now it's like, well, now we got to keep this kid with us forever, because like now we're a part of this crime thing together. And then fast forward, they're like doing crime together later on in life. And
yeah,
just
a little bit of the old Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly it. It's just Stockholm syndrome. They could have killed me and they didn't, so now I owe them. And it's like following him growing up.
Really bleak, man.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good story. And it's crazy. It's like, and both of them are good. Like, it's so sad from like the McAllister family's perspective on like their brother and son who's gone, and then from his perspective, like with these kind of scary older guys, and it's really good.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just like, I looked at the number of people that are like following it and liked it, and it's like 46. Oof. And it's really good.
Well,
both of them.
That's still more people than listen to this podcast. So
yeah, good for her, Thriller Girl. You did
go,
great.
Girl.
Yeah, Girl. It's really good. Just don't make it Home Alone. Make it like a home invasion gone wrong and like raising the kid. Like just write that book, change the names, pull out 50 Shades of Grey. I feel like every once in a while we both stumble across one of those where it's like you should if they just Grey this.
Yeah, if they just filed off the serial numbers, like they'd have something there, but they refused to. Interesting.
But it's the little Home Alone-y details, like the love of the source material for such a strange thing to have such a love for. Like every single one of the siblings who get like 14 seconds of screen time in it, have like their own vignette, and like you get to see them grow up and deal with like the brother who got taken because your parents like forgot him, and now like the rift that develops in the family. It's crazy. It's really good. And I'm just sitting there reading this, and I'm like, I will never, like, I can't get to the bottom of this, man. Like, this human desire to connect with these stories that we love, you know? That's what fanfic is.
Some people camp out all night in front of shoe stores. Like, it takes all types, man.
Yeah, it's like, that's what you're getting to, is like that human desire for connection. It's like what it all comes down to.
Yeah, some people.
That's why we're doing this right now.
Just to try to reinvigorate some semblance of our friendship.
Yeah, when we live really far away and your lives don't overlap very much. You know, it's like, how do you keep make time alive? Yeah, when you live really far away and you're both really busy. You do a podcast about fan fiction.
I mean, if you're over the age of 30 and a white dude, yeah, you're doing a podcast.
Yeah, or you kill yourself, because that's the other thing that most white dudes over the age of 30 are doing.
That's what they start doing. They either start. It's either homebrew, podcast, suicide. Those are it.
Yeah, you need to find a way to.
Some become fathers, I guess.
Yeah, which
but like what is that?
Arguably, not even the best choice.
Not for most of them.
Yeah, because it doesn't necessarily fulfill that need for connection. You know, it's like, if anything, it makes it really difficult, because now you got this partner. Anyway, we could talk about your kids.
Sorry, I was under the impression that the home invasion alone was bleak enough.
Yeah, you want to talk about like why kids aren't the best choice
for most men, because we're infantile and full of rage.
Yeah. And then instead of getting better, we just, hide it.
Bury it and bury it.
Yeah.
And bury it and bury it.
And eventually we break into some rich family's house and then we kidnap a kid and try to become better men.
Let's talk about some fucking fan fiction. The Joker is like not good. It's not a good movie. It's a great performance, but it's not a good movie. It's just Taxi Driver. I mean, it's just DC.
I would
Scorsese.
say it's a really good movie. Taxi Driver is a good movie.
No. Taxi Driver is Taxi Driver, and it's a good movie. The Joker is a fan fiction of DC characters and Taxi Driver.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
it's like
it's just a reskin of Taxi Driver.
Well, yes, but also there are
a Joker Matt. Like, it's totally fan fiction. Exactly.
But
it's
also,
totally fan fiction.
Spoiler alert, like all of the riot stuff, all of the people like sort of rallying behind this like guy who just randomly shot a bunch of people doesn't really add up.
Well, I think it does in that it's like we're assuming that like the rich and the poor thing is a big deal in Gotham City there, and it's reaching a breaking point already.
I understand how it's presented. I just said that it like I don't think it actually sells that point on me very well. It kind of like it sort of like brushes past it because you spend so much time with him. Also, there is no way that a billionaire would let their son hang out that close to the gate.
To a gate.
Like and there's no way that any child, billionaire or otherwise, would let an adult stranger put their hands in their mouth. Like that.
No. I met kids. Like if you see that man, you're trained to run away, especially if you have billionaire parents.
Oh yeah. He would have been shot on sight.
Run away. Take that little pole that you slid down and slide all the way to the secret bunker that's already built under Wayne Manor. Get out of there, Bruce.
But, I mean, don't get me wrong. Great performance, and there was some cool stuff in it. But it is just like, it's just not even its own movie. It's like, it's beat for beat Psycho and Taxi Driver. You know, like, it's just it's like there's a checklist of like, this is what drives a man crazy. He lives with his mom. He has a shitty job. Like it's just like that stuff felt really lazy to me. And the only reason that movie works at all is because Joaquin Phoenix is so good in it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's totally a character portrait film. Like it would live and die based on that performance, and he totally nails it. Yeah. And I think that's probably why he took the role. Yeah, was he's like, this will be good if I'm good, bad if I'm bad.
Well, but no, I mean,
sell it.
I feel like every actor is trying, like since Ledger, like every actor is trying to kill the white whale of the Joker. You know, like and
I think he killed it. Like
I know, I think he did great. But at the same time, it's like it's a catch-22 thing of like I would have liked that movie more if it didn't have anything to do with Batman, but that movie never would have been made unless it had something to do with Batman. It's like the same 10 Cloverfield Lane thing.
I agree 100%. Like, it's stupid. Like, I mean, you can't put that guy into any other superhero movie ever. It would not work.
That guy would immediately get the shit kicked out of him by Batman.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and it's not, that performance was amazing, but doesn't exist in that same universe at all. Yeah. You know? Like, that guy doesn't know, like, and hilariously doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, but there's also stuff.
He shoots a hole in the wall and then, like, goofily, like, tries to cover it up, you know?
Takes a gun to a children's cancer ward. It's great.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff where that, like, is totally, like, just crossover stuff where it's like, okay, you need your political figure for Travis Bickle to try to assassinate. Fuck it, let's just make that Thomas Wayne. Like that's a perfect, analog. Right. It's just so convenient and it's like so unoriginal that it truly does just feel like a, $70 million crossover movie. And that is kind of what I like about it, but it's also like it just ultimately isn't like a real movie in a sense.
Right.
It's just one great performance.
Yes, I agree. And I do think from the ability to get that greenlit, because these people like know movies, they understand the homages that are being made. Like producers are savvy. They understand like the kind of people that like Taxi Driver, the kind of people that like classic film, 70s film, like, and then Hitchcock as well. It's like, is that gonna sell along with like this DC universe thing? Like kids I saw said that they liked Joker kind of, but they were bored, like it was boring. It wasn't.
Oh, it's not a fun movie at all either. I mean, that's the thing. Even Heath Ledger's like Joker, terrifying and anarchic as he is still fun to watch. Like there's not anything fun about Joker.
No, it's very sad. Sad and uncomfortable.
Before we, I think we're in agreement there. Do you have another guess?
Oh, shit. Don't know. It's okay, so I'm thinking about winter, but I don't know that it's on Christmas. a bad movie. Reindeer Games. No?
Well, is that? I've never seen it. I don't know.
I don't know. I saw the opening bit of it, and a woman gets in a car accident, and she breaks a deer's neck with her hands. That's the beginning of Reindeer Games. I think she's an assassin. But that's not it.
That's not it.
We can.
I can give you a big hint. I can give you a small hint. I can give you some
small hint.
I can give you some
begin with, and I'll
runners
get it
up
right away. Give me some runners up first, then the small hint, because I'm going to get it as soon as you give me that small hint.
Oh, okay. So where are you on? This is sort of an aside. This I might edit out. Maybe not. Right. I'm not going to do it. Fuck it. Fuck our listeners. We love them. Fuck them.
We love you guys. If you're still with us, Jesus, good job.
We're still. I mean, it's a war of attrition.
Yeah. I bet Brian's still with us. Love
Thanks,
you,
Brian. Can't wait to see you again. Do you have any more Home Alone stuff? Do you have any other more fan fiction to go over?
Oh, I mean, the only other things that was like the white whale of Home Alone fan fiction. The other things was like weird stuff. This guy, G.I. Joe something, I don't have it right in front of me. He wrote
America's Greatest Hero.
Yeah. He wrote a bunch of them, like really strange cuts, like how they got their dog. Just that's it. Just how they got their dog. And then like little moments from the other kids. Well, I didn't know one way or the other.
That's fine. Sorry.
Shows that you're a bigger nerd than me. You win. I just wrote like little quick profiles on like all the kids, including the dog, which it was weird that the dog got equal play. But good for him.
It is odd.
Yeah.
I mean, God, that will always be the most baffling thing. If somebody chooses to write fan fiction about Home Alone and it's good, then by all means, like I that still adds up to me. But the people who choose to just do nothing with it, I'll never understand.
From the very first episode, man, it's just like you get this kind of interesting crossover setup and you do nothing with it. What was it? It was like the Matrix crossed over with Men in Black or something like that. And they just like kind of met each other and said hello.
And had the same suits, like
Yeah.
It was like what? Maybe for some people, like that's like the concept of combining those two properties, like that is the mental leap. Like that's
the joy. Like you did it. You thought of a crossover, but it's like, that's the
strain to. Wait, I could put this thing with this thing? What?
Yeah, I know. It's sort of like when you're cooking and you're like, I could put cheese on anything. It's like, yes, but should you? And what would it taste like? Like,
wait, I am just going to slather this in the Matrix.
I could put cheese all over the Matrix Reloaded?
What? Well, something's got to add some flavor to that one.
Hey, zim, 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 bada bow.
Bada boom.
But yeah, that's all I got for Home Alone. So give it to me.
Okay.
Give me your thing.
Right, so, okay, so I'll give you some runners up, and I'll think of let me think of a small hint, followed by a big hint, followed by the answer.
Great. So you just want me to give you a minute?
Okay, so here's some runners up. These are just great or possibly bad Christmas adjacent films.
Okay.
Batman Returns.
Oh.
Yeah, the second Tim Burton one.
Good call. I wouldn't have thought of that one, but yeah, that would have been a good guess.
Yeah, that's a fun one too. I like that movie. Gremlins.
Dude, Gremlins also very dark. Like the 90s, like not very funny, super like they straight up kill a lot of people. And that's the joke. They're dead now.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I wanted to do before this? What are some of your actual... Okay, I'm going to finish with the runners-ups, and then we're going to talk about some of our actual favorite Christmas movies.
Okay. I already told you mine.
Yeah, Love Actually. Got it. Die Hard 1 and 2.
Yes. Yeah.
Every Shane Black movie. Every movie he's ever written takes place on Christmas. So,
including The Predator?
Not the Predator, but Iron Man 3, Lethal Weapon, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Which is so good. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is so good.
And I think I can't remember. I don't think The Nice Guys takes place around Christmas. But at least 4 of his other movies do. That's weird, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
kind
an
of a
odd
fun
choice
thing to make your thing. Good for you.
I feel like it's the type of thing that like nobody noticed he was doing, when they were buying his scripts, like he just slips it in there, and then when they get into like when stuff starts showing up for like from the prop department, they're like, wait a second, this motherfucker takes place on Christmas.
Good choice. It makes sense that everything's dark. Mm-hmm. It's dark all the time. It's winter.
It imbues whatever's happening with a forced amount of sentimentality.
Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. It's a clever move.
It is. It's clever to do. It's clever if you do it once and then you do it again for Iron Man 3, right? Like it's clever to do in a Marvel movie, and it's clever to do in one movie. It's not like you can't do it with every movie, or
Christmas
let's say 5 out of 7.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, no, it's not
Shane
kind
Black,
of his thing.
Yeah,
Christmas belongs to humanity.
The Christmas guy. Yeah, no, it's Shane Black's thing.
Like that's bullshit, Shane. That's bullshit.
Nobody else gets to do Christmas. Shane Black gets Christmas. He's done it the most. It's his
Christmas guy. So these are some others. The Thin Man takes place on Christmas.
Don't know what that is. The Thin Man?
It's is it Orson Welles? I don't know. It's an older film. It's a film noir. I've never seen it. Okay. It's very famous. Okay. And I don't know anything about it. And I'm not sure why I brought it up.
You're seeing behind the curtain here on our last episode, guys.
Yeah, and you're also all that's staying in because I'm not going to edit.
Yeah, don't edit any of this.
I'm not going to edit any of it. So, okay, also this is another one that I think is arguably a Christmas movie. It's not, no part of it explicitly takes place on Christmas, but it's like, has such a Christmas vibe to it. The Royal Tenenbaums. Like...
Oh,
it's winter in New York. It's in New York in winter, so that's like already basically Christmas. And there, like Mark Mothersbaugh's score has all these sleigh bells and stuff in it, and it's like they never exchange gifts or even mention Christmas, but it just feels, everything about it feels regal, or I guess you would say royal. And
it also really brings it together because it's like it's dealing with like a family coming together, which is like the huge stress of Christmas. Is like the whole big weird family all is forced together. It's a perfect time to set that movie where it's like none of these people want to be together, but they're forced to be. Yeah. Well,
that's the thing, is that it's like that's kind of a perfect Wes Anderson move, because like there's a shot in that movie that's it's in a really famous location, but it's blocked in a way that I think they go to visit. It's right after they go to visit Gene Hackman's mom's grave site, and they're standing in the cemetery talking. I believe it's Gene Hackman and Owen Wilson, and they're talking. And normally, when people use that location in movies, you can see the statue or the Empire State Building in the background, or maybe the Statue of Liberty. I forget which. But Gene Hackman is framed. He's standing. He's covering it completely. Yeah. And it's just
it's annoying.
It's annoying. It's like a fuck you. And that's kind of like what that movie is it's a Christmas movie where Gene Hackman is standing in such a way that he's covering up Christmas.
And I literally just realized this, but the Tannenbaum is like the Christmas tree. Tannenbaum is like German.
Of course, yeah. Oh, Tannenbaum.
Yeah, right?
I've heard German people say that.
Yeah.
Mein Tannenbaum.
So it's perfect. Yeah, that might be the best Christmas movie. Why is it the worst? I didn't even realize it was a Christmas movie, but it's the best Christmas movie.
The best Christmas movie. It's a nearly perfect movie.
That's great. Oh, man, I need to watch that.
Okay, I'm going to give you a...
Today.
Yeah. I want to watch it on Christmas. I'm going to give you a small hint. I'm going to give you a super small hint.
Okay, great.
The movie I'm referring to, Gene Hackman is not in it.
That's a very small hint.
Yes, it is.
Well played. I don't know.
Okay, so what's your favorite version of the Christmas Carol?
Of the Christmas Carol? Oh, Muppet Christmas Carol.
Muppet Christmas, totally. Like, absolutely. Yeah. I would say Muppet, probably my top one. My very close second is Scrooged. Which
I still need to see. You told me.
Oh, right. You haven't seen.
I really need to see that one.
So for those who don't know, Scrooge is A Christmas Carol with Bill Murray playing a TV executive. And it's great.
Everything I like.
He's really funny. And I think also in my head, even though I made the joke earlier about Groundhog Day, they do sort of overlap in my brain a little bit because I feel like there are really similar beats in it as far as like when he starts visiting his Christmases of future, past, and present, it kind of overlaps with stuff that not things that actually happen in Groundhog Day, but with sort of beats that his character goes through,
yeah, it seems like a similar kind of
character arcs. Yeah, for sure, it is. Yeah, they're actually really similar now that I think about it.
Cool. I'm gonna watch that too. Royal Tenenbaums, then Scrooged.
Okay, so we are now there. Worst movie, worst Christmas movie. It's a movie that takes place on Christmas. I'm about to give you a big hint.
Okay.
Medium hint. There is a spaceship in it.
E.T.?
No.
Is that a Christmas movie?
That's a good guess.
Does it happen on Christmas?
No.
I feel like it happens on Christmas.
It just feels like Christmas.
It feels like a Christmas movie. Spaceship in it. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
2001: A Space Christmas. No, but you are getting
Gravity.
Marginally warmer. So
okay.
here are two more that it is not.
Apollo 13.
Here are two more that it is not.
Okay.
Although these are also really close runners up. So according to the internets, the actual worst Christmas movie for them is Santa Claus Conquers Mars.
Yeah, but that kind of shit's lazy.
I know, and I don't.
That's a really bad movie.
It's a really bad movie, and I don't know anything about it, and I don't want to talk about it. Yeah. Also, a very bad Christmas movie is Christmas on Mars, directed by Wayne Cohen of the Flaming Lips. Very interesting score that they made, but it's a very meandering and ponderous film that he filmed over like a decade. Interesting effort, but let's just say it's not a great Christmas movie.
Okay.
So I forgot to tell you, unlimited guesses.
But our listeners do not have unlimited patience.
I know, and we're going to find out exactly
we'll see.
where they draw the line.
All right,
Spaceship.
Independence Day. Nope, that's the 4th of July. Let's see. Let's see. Independence Day 2, still the 4th of July.
Okay, just hang on. Slow your roll.
Okay.
There's a spaceship in it.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Let me finish.
Okay.
There's a spaceship in it. It takes place on Christmas. It is on Christmas Day. It is, depending on who you ask, objectively a bad film.
Okay.
But it is also simultaneously a movie I both love and hate.
Mars Attacks.
Is that on Christmas? I think that there's a part of that does take place on Christmas, but no, that's not what I'm referring to. That's also a great movie.
It's a pretty good guess, though. It's a love and hate kind of a movie.
Yeah.
Right?
I watched it last Christmas. Does that help you?
Yeah, that does. 'Cause I'm you.
Right.
I don't know, man. Give me a bigger hint.
Okay.
Spaceship.
It came out in...
No, I'm not big enough.
What?
That's not a big enough hint.
Oh. It came out in 2014.
Oh,
I think.
Maybe that is a big enough hint. Okay. Ooh, wait.
Or...
You love and hate it? Arrival.
No, sorry. I believe... maybe it came out in 2012. It's not Arrival. And that doesn't take place on Christmas. It is a great movie.
I don't know. Doesn't it feel like Christmas too? Doesn't everything kind of feel like Christmas?
Every time the humanity is saved by aliens, yes, it feels like Christmas. We're all given the gift of life.
I mean, that is sort of what the Christmas story is. Humanity is saved by aliens.
Oh, here's a hint.
So,
it is one of a loosely, either some hard connected, some loose connected. What's it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Septology? 7?
oh, really?
Not a Star Trek. It's not a Star Trek.
Okay. Though Star Trek is a great guess.
Sorry, octology?
Oh my God.
Depending on which ones you count?
Have I heard of this?
100%. In fact, I tangentially
Wait.
have talked about it on the show.
Fast and the Furious. Is there a spaceship?
Is there a spaceship in that? No. No.
Okay.
That was actually
Vin
a good
Diesel.
guess. That was a good guess. It has exclusively A-list actors in it.
It has exclusively A-list actors in it?
I mean, some of them are character actors, but yes. I mean, like, pedigreed actors.
Is it Chris Pratt and...
No.
And, okay.
That's...
I haven't seen that one. Oh, man. I'm going to feel dumb, but you need to tell me.
Prometheus.
Is on Christmas?
Is not only takes place on Christmas Day, is saturated with biblical allusions and Christian themes.
Oh my God, it is.
100%. So
it's
not
like
only
God and man is like all of it, and judgment and oh wow, of course.
You want me to walk through them?
Yeah. So, give it to me.
Essentially, they arrive on Christmas Day. They arrive to the planet Prometheus. LV-223 or LV-226, which is also short for Leviticus 226, even though LV is the designation of the planet in Alien and Aliens as well.
What is that verse in Leviticus?
I wrote it down.
Please.
Sorry, Leviticus 2:23. Tell them in future generations, if any of your descendants, while unclean, comes near the holy offerings the Israelites set apart for the Lord, that person must be excluded from my presence. I am the Lord.
Wow. That is a dope, deep cut allusion.
Yeah.
Well
done.
That's
that's Samuel L. Jackson's go-to before his backup if he forgets the first one.
He's got a few Old Testament.
Yeah, he's Old Testament kind of guy. So they arrive on Christmas Day. This is signaled by Idris Elba playing with a Christmas tree right after they get out of cryo sleep. So they arrive on Christmas Day. They go to the facility. They wake all this stuff. The movie begins with the creation of man, right? Like the movie opens with that weird experiment that the engineers are doing, and that creates life on a planet like Earth, which suggests that they created it on Earth as well.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh, this is such a good, Zach, this is such a good one because we had so much Prometheus stuff in this show.
I know, and the funny thing is that there's a bunch of Prometheus crossover, but it's all Next Generation,
Prometheus.
or it's all Prometheus or Pornetheus, and or Pronetheus, which was a shellfish thing that I didn't get. And
I was gonna say, is that like what's the one? It's in South Africa. They call them the prawns.
District 9.
District 9. There it is. Which would be a good crossover.
Yeah, it would. But also more than any of them, they're crossed over with X-Men First Class, just because of the Fassbender connection.
Yeah.
So it takes place on Christmas Day. Do you remember some of the things that happened to the main characters on Christmas Day? Namely, Shaw.
Real quick, just before I forget it, we need to do a crossover that's Avatar: The Last Fassbender.
Yeah, that's really good. But it's Avatar: The Last Fassbender, but it's. Oh man, I wish you'd said that later. But it's David, Michael Fassbender's android character from Prometheus in James Cameron's Avatar.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, totally. Avatar: The Last Fassbender. So there's one. His name's David. The engineers are modeled after Michelangelo's David, and I actually looked this up and watched the making of the film, and the modeling for the engineers was meant to be classical and Greek, but also a combination between Michelangelo's David, the Statue of Liberty, and Elvis Presley, which is why they have that like bridged nose the way they do.
Yeah, I was gonna say they got a really interesting look. They look unlike anything, but kind of like everything.
So, did you recall that Noomi Rapace's character Elizabeth Shaw in the film was barren? Do you remember that to be an aspect of her?
I did not remember that.
She can't have babies. Do you remember something that she does in that movie that happens to her?
She has an alien give birth out of her chest.
She gives, out of her uterus.
It comes out of her uterus? Wait, no, I don't remember.
She gets C-sectioned.
To get the alien out of her?
Do you remember that?
Cut her? No. Wait. Yes.
Yeah.
Because then she's like hobbling around afterwards. Like,
yeah. So she has a cesarean section, not an abortion, but a sterile individual gives birth to a new creature on Christmas Day, and the whole way they get to that planet is by following a star chart, like a pattern of stars in the sky, just like the Magi.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, they cut open her womb and take the child out.
So what you're saying, in a nutshell, is that Prometheus is alien Christmas crossover fan fiction.
Yeah, and it's not even fan fiction. Do you want to know an aspect of the original script that didn't make it into the film?
What?
So when they get to that ship, they determine that ship is primed to launch, right? And it's primed to head to Earth with basically a death swarm of biological warfare. They figure out, but something happened on the ship that killed all the engineers, right?
Right.
She determines that the engineers have been dead for roughly, I'll give you one guess.
2,000 years?
2,000 years.
Okay.
What happened on Earth roughly 2,000 years ago?
The birth of Christ.
The death of Christ.
Right. The death of Christ. And so what are they? What's the implication then? Like that?
I want you to try to connect the dots on this one. It's kind of like we're writing fan fiction for Christmas and Prometheus, but this is like very nearly canonical.
This is very cool. Okay, so they were going to send a death swarm to
wipe out the human race.
Wipe out the human race.
2,000 years ago. Race.
And then the death of Christ happens, and he literally, in his death, saves humanity from this death swarm by dying as like a sacrifice, as like a redemption for the human race.
Really close, but think about it in the context of that film. We already have a nativity thing, but it's a reverse grotesque nativity thing. So
so he's the alien being born from a human.
Yeah.
And it dies.
Right.
And then so this alien is crucified and dies.
I didn't mean that
I'm trying to make the connection. I'm trying my best here.
Yeah. No. I said that in a way that was confusing. I meant that think about it tonally. So like you were really close with your first guess, but that's a little bit too optimistic of a
gotcha.
Presumption.
So this is a grotesque version of that. So
okay, I'll give you this much. You had it right, except it's in reverse causality. So the death of Christ is the reason why the engineers are coming back to Earth to plague bomb the planet and wipe out the human beings which they created.
Oh, that makes sense because you killed. Like, you had one chance. We gave you one chance and you killed him, so screw you. Like,
Why would they be so invested in that one particular character? That Christ guy?
Maybe that was like they were seeding the planet. They were seeding the planet with this new human life. Like this idealized...
They were.
This ideal... and then you killed it. And therefore, like, we see that this planet is not a fertile place that we can seed, like, because they won't allow this new transcendent kind of a being to exist.
Yeah.
Therefore, we got to just start over.
That's all. All that stuff's basically true, but there's one aspect that I think that I'm just going to explain that is the cause of why they would want to wipe out the planet quite so vengefully after Christ died.
Okay.
It's because Christ is one of them.
Right. They seeded him with...
No. So, I mean, he's an actual engineer.
Oh, like they
sent an engineer to Earth to try and create peace on Earth, and human beings
and they
crucified him.
Yeah. I mean, they do have good abs. Jesus always has good abs.
He's always got good abs, although...
In the paintings.
I would say that, traditionally speaking, Jesus is too white, and the engineers are definally too white.
Kind of blue. Yeah, they're pretty white.
Practically translucent.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's like, he's a lot whiter than you'd expect.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, why is he so tall and white? Wouldn't he be short and Middle Eastern? And they're like, nah.
Can you imagine how big the cross had to be?
Oh, man. You'd take a real engineer to make that thing.
Zing, I guess. Also, the entire movie is about sacrifice and redemption and birth and death and rebirth. But
right. So the idea being they were sending a death swarm because they had tried and like they're still, and so when they wake up, they're still mad. Like one of their homeboys.
Yeah, that one guy is well, that's what they were going to do, was to go bomb the Earth and in theory just start with a clean slate again.
Yeah. Because they can do that. They can wipe everything out and then start new life because they got that. Because that's the whole thing, right? It's just life. Like the alien
the mutagen is
It's just, it can make it work. It's life that will find a way to make
DNA.
it work.
It's like raw DNA, raw, uncut, 24 karat Goldblum DNA.
Which is a really cool setup for.
That's why they're so tall.
Like a perfect parasite, Like it just, in whatever environment you put it into, it's gonna figure it out. It's gonna live. It's gonna.
I could talk for 6 straight hours about how much I want to like Prometheus and how much I do not like Prometheus, because it is saturated with such incredible ideas in a way that like are totally insane. Like combining science fiction with basically classical artwork and biblical allegory is bonkers in the way that they do it.
Yeah, that's great.
But it's just
why don't you like it?
Because it's
great.
No, parts of it are great. Ideas in it are great. It looks incredible. It's acted for the most part really well. Michael Fassbender's incredible in it. But the way that they deliver information and the way that the reasons why people make decisions in the movie don't make any fucking sense. And I can't suspend disbelief to like enjoy those other elements because they're there's totally a serpent in it.
But the Bible is the exact same way, and people are really into that.
Yeah, but I'm not me. I can't suspend disbelief long enough to get into it.
Sorry if any of my in-laws listen to that line. That's not so chill to say.
Well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that I can't believe we haven't talked about that aspect of Prometheus, given the hilarious number of times we've talked about Prometheus.
Yeah.
I literally wrote a My Little Pony. This is for the audience because this is our last episode. But like, I wrote a My Little Pony Prometheus crossover for you, Zach. Do you remember that?
I do. I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, I wrote it. I made it like I took all the characters, made it. It was like, and then like it had like a unicorn alien that like burst out of the engineer.
Yeah. I mean, that was the hook, is that it used the unicorn to burst open the body, or the horn to burst open the body.
Yeah,
of course.
I wrote it.
I know.
Because of my love for and your hatred for this incredible film, Prometheus.
Well, we've got a couple more hours to fill if you want to just go word for word through that story.
I don't think I can. Lindsay's home and she's making dinner.
Oh, boy.
So I should probably go out there and say thank you.
Yeah, give thanks. Everybody go say thanks to your spouse.
Yeah.
Or just somebody close to you. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you have any other
incredible, man.
burning questions about Prometheus?
Yeah, so many. We'll have to do them in a whole new podcast,
I know.
I guess.
Ooh, Podetheus.
I know there's so many ones that are about. There's so many things about like white guys talking about movies and stuff, but it's just what we do in our free time anyway. It's just for you and me.
Yeah, no, nobody's listening. It's just for us to listen and laugh at. When in my heart of hearts I miss you and I need to hear your voice. I just listen to the podcast.
I love you, Zach. I really do.
I love you too, Andrew.
All right.
Well, goodbye, Andrew.
Goodbye, Zach.
Man, this is fun. We should do this more often.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Who'd have thunk making a podcast is fun?